Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Wednesdays at the Wink. I'm TJ Downing with the SMG Network here, rocking with the Walsh Cavaliers. Always everything Walsh Cavalier athletics on Wednesdays at the Wink, right over here across from campus at Washington Square Winking Lizard. Make sure to come and check them out after you get done. When we talk a little bit of women's basketball here, when you go over to Alumni Arena, wherever you may be at on campus, before or after any event, make sure you're stopping out here and patronizing the Winking Lizard at Washington Square. Some great things that we'll talk about, some different things from November 11th through January 5th, specials that they will have here. And again, anything Walsh Cavalier Athletics you need, make sure wherever you get your apps at, go and download the Walsh Athletics, the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app. You can get that at Google Play or Apple Store, and you can stay up to date on schedules, scores, stats, find out how many charges our girl Lauren Galaska has taken. I think they keep that stat, don't they, Coach?
They should.
They should. Yes, they should. Coach Mark Switch-Gable and also Lauren Galaska from Olmsted Falls joining us here. She's one of the players on Coach's team, and she joined us last year. She always took care of us in the press box. The Greenie sidekick taking care of us up there at Larry Stout Field inside of the William and Kathleen Brockman press box. Appreciate you, girl. Right across the street here from campus, we're getting it in today here, Wednesdays at the Wink, talking a little women's basketball. Coach, you guys are 3-1 on the season. Let's just give a little recap from where it was last year when I got a chance to talk with you guys a bit. Just kind of recap how things ended last year and maybe what some of the expectations are coming into this season.
Yeah, I think we've grown a tremendous amount since last year. I always knew last year was going to be kind of a rebuilding year. We had 6 freshmen, and most of them played a pretty good amount. So it was a good year for us to get experience. We didn't have a ton of upperclassmen. So the majority of our team has returned this year, and we've added a couple more really talented freshmen. So just building off of last year, we started to play some better basketball in February. And then I think this year, we're all in agreement that our expectations are a little bit higher. So we've got some more experience, got more talent and more depth than I think we've had in the past. So I think this opening weekend, or the first 2 opening weekends, kind of put us, I'd hoped we'd come out of there 3-1 at worst, and that's what we did. So I think it was a good weekend for us to get started and get going, and now we'll get a stretch here where we get to play 8 in a row at home, which will be good for us as well.
Yeah, the lone loss, that was Grand Valley State, correct? They're one of the better teams in the country, right?
Yeah, they're ranked 2nd or 3rd in the country right now. And then they got to play out in Montana that opening weekend before we were able to play, and they beat some top 25 teams pretty handily. So we talked about, they're in our region, so we're a team that, has postseason aspirations, and I think it's good to get a crack at them early, and then if we get another chance down the road here at the end of the year, we'll be a little bit more ready for what they bring.
Well, Lauren, I've always kind of liked that philosophy the coach talked about there, where you can, let's figure out how do we close the gap from one of the better teams in the country, right? Let's play them early. Let's find out a little bit about ourselves, see how we stack up, and then you work through the season preparing to where you may be able to get a chance to see them later in the postseason. When you came away from that game, self-scouting yourself, looking at some film, looking at you and the other ladies around you, how did you guys feel walking away from playing against one of the better teams in the country?
I mean, honestly, it just makes us better prepared for what we're going to see for the rest of the season. Obviously, we have Ashland in our conference who won the national championship 2 years ago, and they're always a top 25 team. So I think it just better prepares us for the long run, and as well gives us better experience. Like, just playing against those really competitive teams makes us better. So I think it was a really good opportunity for us.
And when you start to think about some things you and your group, you and your ladies did, the off season, let's talk about that. Coach mentioned that, what you thought was going to happen last year with maybe some rebuilding stuff, and now that you put that in the rear view, now you've got a little bit of that experience. But talk about kind of the off season grind. That's always it's brutal sometimes, but you got to put yourself through that to prepare yourself for the season. Give us an idea, give Cavalier Nation an idea of what women's basketball offseason looked like here this past offseason.
I mean, we were going at it right from the jump. Like, we didn't hold back. We knew that this year we wanted to do something different than what people expect from us. And so I think we've had a great mentality so far of just going about it and kind of putting everything out there and leaving everything out on the floor and kind of, I don't know, it's been fun so far, just playing hard, working hard, coming into practice with a positive attitude every single day. And it's really showing on the court, I think, with our team culture, and just the way we play together, I think, is really different from past years that I've been here.
Yeah, Coach, when when you think about, I guess you talked about your hierarchy of the GMAC or where it kind of sits. I mean, it changes year to year, but Lauren mentioned, 2 years ago, Ashland, you were able to win the national title. When you start to look at how your program, your fingerprint of what you're putting on this program and how you stack up inside the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, what are those expectations? I know we always we set goals, right? And the first thing is, hey, let's try and get here to the top and win the conference first. When you look at the other teams within the conference, how do you feel like this group, these ladies, stack up against the rest of the GMAC?
Yeah, I think the window of opportunity has kind of started to open this year for us. If you look at the preseason poll, 2 through 8, which we were picked 8th, 2 through 8 were really close together. And I know when I was filling out that poll myself, I had a pretty hard time trying to choose exactly who should be where. So just the league is so much different than last year, just from, there was a lot of teams that had a lot of 4th-year, 5th-year seniors that are no longer here. And some of the teams are going through what we went through last year, where there's just more freshmen and more new, and there's just a lot of unknown right now. So I know as a team we've talked a lot about, I think top 5 is a reasonable and realistic expectation for us for this season. And honestly, for us, we should continue to get better every year moving forward with the talent and the youth that we have. So I think you'll see us take a big step forward this year, and hopefully we'll go as far as we can and then continue to do that moving forward.
And you guys have a new mascot now too. It's not just a Cavalier. You're gonna have the little one. You're gonna be will start to crawl around, and now you're gonna be running around there. Pretty cool deal. Congratulations, man. I believe you said, about 7.5 months old?
Thank you. Yep, 7.5. Yep.
It's fun. I'll tell you what, my daughter turned 7 today, and enjoy. Flies by and goes by really, really fast.
Yep.
Lauren, for you, I know we jokingly talked a lot about the charges that you take. Somebody's got to do that dirty work down in the paint, and that's kind of been your gig. You've been the one to be counted on to do that. For those that don't know, when you're sitting there, and I think people really they get thrown off when they're watching basketball on TV because they're wondering what is a charge, what isn't a charge. The feet are set, you're outside the arc. Tell me the ins and outs of properly taking a charge.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just about being in the right place at the right time.
It's like a feel. You just got to feel it, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's necessarily ins or outs. It's just being there, but also willingly wanting to do it. Some people are in the right position a lot of the time, but don't want to take the charge, and you just have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to take the hit and fall down.
Not everybody's cut that way.
It doesn't hurt that bad most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Coach, I think we've seen it all before. Sometimes it's it clearly looked like a charge, but then I guess from the officials' vantage point, you're just they have to be in the right place to be able to see it too. And things move so fast now. We're talking at the collegiate level. It can be a little bit difficult, and I'm sure that can kind of get under your skin a little bit too. Come on, Liz, my girl just did everything she could to possibly get this thing done, and you're not. That's a charge.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I think there's a lot of gray area. I can't even clearly define what a charge is most of the time because there's so many moving parts. There's lines on the floor. You can't stand directly below the rim. Yeah. So there's just a lot of aspects that go into it. It's like calling balls and strikes, that catch the outside corner with too high, too low. There's just a lot of little nuances to it. So I don't envy being in the position to have to make those calls.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we really rely on our referees. We had a great episode that we did here a few weeks back with not only Greeny, but one of the young baseball players. Also, Gramlich was on here telling us about, just it's different. You're trying to get these officials that are coming up through the ranks, kind of teach them and get them better and mold them so that they're prepared to make those calls, that they're prepared to, to be able to evaluate a contest, which is, again, it's a lot faster when you think about your jump from Olmsted Falls to playing college basketball. Big jump, right? Mm-hmm. Things are a lot faster. So I want to give a special shout out to a couple of our great partners here at Walsh University with Walsh Cavalier Athletics. It starts with BSN Sports, Huntington Bank, Cleveland Clinic, Mercy Hospitals, also the BellStores right here, new BellStore right up here. Go over and check them out. And also the Sam Center, serving area military, giving back over 13,000 pounds of food to veteran families in need every first and third Friday of the month. Get behind them when you can. Coach, talk about a little bit of your, before we get you guys out of here, your senior leadership. I know it always starts with the ones that have been there and gotten it done. Really for you, who are the leaders that you can count on to when coach isn't doing it and you got to allow one of the players to do it? Who are the ones that you look to be either vocal leaders or leading by example?
Well, Lauren's been one of those leaders every year that I've been here. So she started as basically a senior leader when she was a sophomore. So she has a really good feel for just what the team needs and what I expect of the team and what they should be doing the majority of the time. So outside of her, we've got a group of team leaders. So there's 3 others. Lydia, who will be on here in a moment. She's our other elder statesman, I guess you would consider. She's, I think, technically the oldest on the team. Lydia, are you the oldest? Yeah. So she's still got another year after this. She's been in grad school for a while. So those 2 have some pretty good perspective and bring some maturity and decision making and leadership to that group. And then Sydney and Kylie, one of our sophomores and one of our juniors, are also on that council. So they lead a lot of just practice activities on the court, off the court, and then we meet with them and kind of make sure everything's going well and we're on the same page and all going the same direction.
Lauren, before we get you guys out of here, when you look back or when others look back on the 2024-25 season for the women's basketball team here at Walsh University, what do you want them to remember most about this group?
I don't know. I just want them to enjoy watching us. I think we've taken a huge step in the past 2 years. As Coach said, last year was kind of a rebuilding year for us. So I think we're going to change the perspective that people have had the past couple of years on Walsh women's basketball. And I think people are going to be really excited to the things that we bring here in the next couple of years.
It's exciting, Coach. Tell you what are your when you look back and start to think at this group, I mean, what do you think really when you talk about the ceiling or what these girls are capable of doing? I know you mentioned the postseason stuff, but really when you see them all work together, what really kind of sticks out to you the most, like as kind of a keynote thing here for this group? What do these girls do really, really well that, like, you know what, something that I've taught them, I've coached them, and they're really taking it to that next level?
Well, I think we've had a big emphasis this year on just trying to get to the rim and score more points in the paint and not just rely on shooting threes. I love shooting threes, but those high percentage shots in the paint really tend to pay dividends, and we've had more points in the paint through our first 4 games this year than we did the majority of the time last year. So just their willingness to play together and make the correct reads offensively and find the open player has been really huge for us offensively. And then I think defensively they work really well together as a unit. So we've had some games where like Salem just scored 49. We kept them under 50, which was a goal of ours.
Nice.
I think we gave up 50 against Davenport. And then West Liberty shot it really well, but they were under 70 as well. So I think defensively for us with our press and the pressure that we provide, full court and half court, we'll be able to do some really good things.
Good things coming down the line here for the women's basketball team. Walsh Cavaliers. Remember, to stay up to date on everything they're doing, also go over to athletics.walsh.edu. Great articles that they put up there. You can stream them live on the Great Midwest Digital Network. Go under rosters or go under schedules. Under women's basketball, you'll be able to stream all of their games live. Lauren Galaska, Coach Mark Switch-Gable, really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thank
Let's
you.
get after it. Continue to do it. And you'll be able to get all that stuff and all that content as well and get up to date on when they're going to be playing next by getting the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app. Download that on Google Play or Apple Store, wherever you get your apps. Stay up to date with the Walsh Cavaliers. All right, TJ Downing here with the SMG Network. We'll be back with more from Wednesdays at the Wink here after a bit. Hang on. Welcome back into Wednesdays at the Wink. TJ Downing with the SMG Network, rocking with our Walsh Cavaliers, as we always are, across the street from campus at the Washington Square Winking Lizard. Also, remember, again, as we talked about it, as I bring on these 2 ladies here who are teammates alongside Lauren, who you just heard from, and 2 of Coach Mark Schwitz-Gable's best talents on the court. We'll call it, you're the Elder States lady. That's what we're going to go with here. The fifth-year senior grad transfer out of Bellarmine, Louisville, Kentucky. She is Lydia Reinbold. She's a 5th year. She was here on the team last year. And then also Sammy Kim from St. Joe's Academy up in Cleveland. Lydia played her ball at Bishop Luers out of Fort Wayne. We'll talk a little bit more about that, how they got here to Walsh University. But again, make sure to stay up to date on everything they're doing. Find out how you can get tickets to events. Stay up to date on schedules, stats, scores, everything that they're doing by downloading the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app over at Google Play or Apple Store, or just go over and check out athletics.walsh.edu. Special shout out to the Sam Center, BellStores, Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospitals, also Huntington Bank and BSN Sports. All right, ladies, let's dig right into it. 3-1 on the season. I've always been one that I feel like we learn more from our losses than we do from our victories. So the one that I really talked to Coach and also Lauren about a lot was you guys played one of the best teams in the country when you faced off with Grand Valley State. How did you feel coming away from that game? And really kind of what I talked about with them was, you guys have aspirations of wanting to play postseason basketball. Could potentially see them again because they're in your region. So I think it's great that you're playing them now and you figure out all these things about yourself. You don't get the victory, but you figure out how we can close the gap with them. So when you took the court with Grand Valley State, what were some things that you guys walked away with after that basketball game?
I would say we walked away with like a positive of, as a team, I felt we really came together, even though we were struggling offensively. We didn't get frustrated with one another, and we really came together. After the game, we all talked about, what we need to focus on for this upcoming week in practice. A lot of that was our help side defense, being in the next gap and swinging over, and I feel like this, in the past 2 weeks, we've really worked on that, and that's shown in our 2 most recent wins.
Yeah. Sammy, what did you really kind of take away?
I think the main thing was just like staying together, and like we knew going into it we were going to make a lot of mistakes, and we were obviously we're younger than they were, but just like staying together, keeping that team energy and like on the bench and stuff like that.
What is the one thing for, when sometimes you get into a game and you're just kind of like struggling offensively and you just can't get things to drop, things that are just normally going for you in certain games, it's not, what do you do to kind of get out of that? I don't know if you call it like a funk that you're in, but when it's just not going for you on the offensive side, do you just start to look, are there just different things you can do defensively, or how do you kind of break out of maybe that lull of not being able to put the amount of points on the board that you want to?
I would say definitely we kind of come on our defensive side. We've been putting in our press, and I think that's a great way. We can get up, we can press, and then hopefully get a quick, fast break, and just seeing the ball go through the hoop for the first time can just help get the momentum going back our direction.
Yeah. When you guys start to think about what the expectations are for this year is another thing that I talked to Lauren a lot about. Coming out of last year, Coach mentioned, you guys were young, and that was your first year with the Walsh Cavaliers last year. You get that put behind you. You get the youth and the inexperience. You get that put behind you, and now it's like, okay, here's the expectations. Where do you see? What is the height of where this team can really go when you start to break down what this 2024-25 season will look like?
I think we can be competitive with pretty much anybody in the conference, but as long as we just like stick to our fundamentals and like everything that Coach has been like pounding on, but like keys to win the games and stuff like that.
Yeah, Coach was really kind of talking about when they did those preseason rankings. And obviously, we all know how a great program that Ashland's put together, national champs 2 years ago. But he's like from 2 to 8 within the conference. There's not really a whole lot that separates those teams. So when you start to think, Lydia, about the separation between, let's say, you guys and a Kentucky Wesleyan or Northwood, what are those small things right there that lead you to believe that, Walsh Cavaliers, we can get it done and we can beat out those teams within the GMAC?
I think that everybody on our team wants it this year. We've come together, like we've mentioned countless times, but I'm sure Lauren mentioned how competitive our practices are. There's always someone to step up if we have an injury or, someone's not on their best game, but we all collectively want it together, and I think that's what can push us ahead.
So what really was the deciding factor for you being a grad transfer that allowed you to get here just a little bit over 2 years ago? What was it that kind of sold you on Walsh and coming here to North Canton?
I have known a girl that had come here previously. That was my sister's age, Allison Butler, and she spoke super highly of the university, which got me here on a visit in the first place. And then after I sat down with the coaches, I just felt like I truly had a place here and that, they would value what I could bring to the table as a player and as a teammate, and that I could find that sense of community that I've been looking for.
Yeah. Coach Marks, I love following him on Twitter. He's always got some really cool stuff that he puts on there. What's he kind of like in practice? I mean, is he? I'm sure, as Lauren mentioned, we were talking about off-season stuff this past off-season, and she said you guys just jumped right into it, and it was super tough. You guys were getting after it, preparing yourselves for what you were going to see this year. But tell me about like a Coach Mark run practice. I mean, is it intense? Okay, I see the smiles and the laughs. I need some good stuff here. He's not paying attention right now, so you can say whatever you want. What's it like?
I mean, obviously it is intense, and he's pushing for like competitiveness and stuff like that. So I think just like he knows when like we're a little less focused, and he lets us have a little bit of fun, but he knows when to like dial it in and get us back on track, I feel like. Yeah.
Shed a little bit of light too here on it's not just Coach Mark that gets it done. There's some other assistant coaches you guys have, and I know I was teasing Lauren because she seems to be the one that takes the charges all the time, and she's always on the ground. I mean, that hardwood is so unforgiving. I mean, just think about falling on that all the time right there. It's not fun. You guys all have to do it, but she mentioned even your athletic training staff, the ones that keep you out there. They make sure you're healthy and ready to compete. Shine a little bit of light, or talk about a couple of your assistants that work alongside Coach Mark that really are instrumental on a day-to-day basis for you guys.
Obviously our athletic trainer, shout out to Ange.
Yeah.
She keeps us sane and just like helps us with literally anything we need. But also Coach Tori and Carolyn, they're always someone that I feel like we can talk to if we ever have a problem or feel like we're in a little bit of a funk or like need extra workouts and stuff like that. So yeah, they're really helpful.
Yes, Carolyn's been a great addition. This year, she really knows basketball and is always willing to get in the gym with us, put us through workouts. Tori brings so much energy and positivity that you need. Basketball season's a long time.
Yeah.
And Ange, love Ange, spend all my time with her, so she's been awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't have a good trainer, I'll tell you, you're in a lot of trouble. It's there's so many things when you think about just collegiate athletics. I mean, the impact it takes on your body, and it's everybody is coming out of high school and they're all big, fast, strong, whatever it may be. They're the best of the best. And when you start thinking about competing out there on the hardwood day in and day out, I mean, you're going to take those bumps and bruises. It's just part of the game. It comes with it. So shout out to Ann getting it done. Sammy, what was it about Walsh University that allowed you to get here from St. Joe's Academy? What was it that kind of stuck out and ultimately got you here?
I think I talked with my AU coach, and he was just talking about how this was a new program with a new coach, and he's young, and I feel like I came here on my visit, and I just like the community of it and the environment, and the campus is obviously really pretty. I feel like so. Yeah, those were the.
What are you guys studying?
I'm in my grad program for clinical mental health counseling.
I'm in biology for pre-dental.
Okay, some good ones there. I'll tell you what, we can't sit here and not talk about how much the mental health stuff is really creeped up, and just making sure that we're all kind of taking care of that side of us, because especially athletes, they just expect us to be big, tough, strong, push those emotions down to the side. You're just a competitor out there, and so love to see where you're going with that. And also obviously the biology stuff, that was way too high for me. I was just the sports and leisure studies guy. We'll call it communications now, but all right, so tell me, let's break down what's coming up here for the women's basketball team, Walsh Cavalier women's basketball team. Tell me what's on the horizon, next opponent. Really give me a snapshot, because I feel like I've always broken down basketball this way. You get to that first part, get through Christmas, and then you got the whole second part, which is right after Christmas at the first of the year. So this first part, let's talk about leading up here to second, third week of December. Who are some of the opponents you guys are going to be facing, and really what's coming up here next?
Our next one is Lake Superior State this Saturday, I believe. Home opener, so we're all pretty excited about that one.
There we go.
So.
Get there.
Come.
You never know, you might catch President Collins crowd surfing or something.
Definitely, probably, yeah. But yeah, no, we're really excited about that. Just to be able to not be on the road for a weekend and have our fans come and see our families and stuff like that.
Lydia, is there a rhyme or reason to what I was kind of just saying there about the first half, getting through the first of, getting into the first of the year, where is it kind of a race where you guys are sitting at 3-1 right now, and you want to, as early as you can, push out and get the best record you can? I know you guys kind of mentioned that you knew there was going to be some mistakes when you went out there against Grand Valley State, but is it kind of a push to see how great of a record you can get out to, so that kind of gives you that momentum on the second half stretch?
Yeah, I think having momentum is great, and we have 2 games right before Thanksgiving. If we can, get that record to 5-1, that's a great way to start off. Also, just kind of seeing all the pieces that we have. We have a lot of talented players on the team. I think that's a big part of this first section of the season, in a sense of where can everybody fit in and how can we all contribute, and then you have everything fine-tuned for the second half and keep on that momentum.
keep it going. And we're going to have you back because obviously once we get into some postseason play, we'll have you back here at Wednesdays on the Wink to be able to break down everything that's going to be going on there. So, obviously we'll be pulling for you. Cav Nation is always pulling for you. I am. I know you guys have a phenomenal athletic administration behind you with not only Christina Paone and Greeny, but Graham, all that they do. I know there's a lot of the stuff we talk about goes on behind the scenes, but they're always constantly promoting you guys, their student athletes, which is number one, and that's really, to me, what makes Walsh University so special. So, and again, President Collins, crowd surfing, how many places can you go and find something like that?
Not many.
Shout out to President Collins, man. You're the best. All right, so we're going to wrap this episode up here of Wednesdays at the Wink here at the Washington Square Winking Lizard. Again, as Sammy mentioned, Saturday, home opener right here across the street. Before you go, stop out here to the Winking Lizard. Afterwards, to celebrate the victory, come here to the Winking Lizard. Special shout out to all the ladies here. Deb, always taking care of us. Denise. And again, to get, if you want to find out when the games are going to be played, be able to get ticket scores, all that, make sure you download the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app, Google Play, Apple Store, wherever you get them. Download that. Also, if you want more information, go to athletics.walsh.edu. If you can't get out or get on the road to any of the away games, you can stream on the Great Midwest Digital Network. These ladies, every contest, right there at athletics.walsh.edu. Special shout out to BSN Sports, Huntington Bank, Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospitals, and also BellStores and the Sam Center. Get behind the Sam Center, serving area military, giving back 13,000 pounds of food to veteran families in need every first and third Friday. Check out their new location up in Canal Fulton. Just built that, and they also have service centers over in Massillon to be able to help out and donate when you can. As Lydia just mentioned, we got Thanksgiving coming up, so the more you can give back to help others, serve others, please do it if you can. All right, TJ Downing for the SMG Network. We're wrapping it up here. Shout out to Coach Mark Schwitz-Gable. Shout out to Lauren Galaska, the one who takes all the charges and is constantly down there on the hardwood just smacking her back. And Ange, of course, shout out to you for getting her back up off of there and repairing her. And shout out to you, Sammy Kim and Lydia Reinbold, for joining us here on another episode of Wednesdays at the Wink. We'll be back next week with a little bit more. Then we're going to take a break. We're going to have a little bit of a 2-3 week lull here between the holidays. So you'll be able to catch us over on the YouTube channel and over at athletics.walsh.edu. All right, until next time, as we always say, hey, swords up.
Swords up.
See ya.